This game picked violence. I was hoping for like some fun reads. Oh, wait, okay, I just remembered what it was. I'm actually kind of excited about that one. Who knows where my life is gonna go in 2026, because it's already been a wild one and it's the end of February. Welcome to the video. Hi, my name is Autumn. I'm a reader and a writer, and today I am going to be playing my TBR game. So this TBR game is called the R-gorithm Game. R stands for R Studio, which is a statistical software. All I do is throw in my books into the statistical software, and it randomly picks the books I'm gonna read for 4 months. That's all you need to know about it. Since this is episode 2, I want to talk about the books in episode 1, give them a yay or nay. I did vlog myself reading all of these, so the reading vlog that's going to have a little bit more in-depth reviews is going to be there. We're going to make one minor tweak to the rules. I say a tweak, it's more of just kind of like an update. And then we're gonna jump in and pick the next 4 books. Last month, the 4 books that the R-gorithm Game picked was Intermezzo by Sally Rooney, The Cat Who Saved Books by Suzuki Natsukawa, The Lucky One by Nicholas Sparks, and The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. So the 3 that I did read was Intermezzo, The Cat Who Saved Books, and The Lucky One. The Lucky One, I think I gave it a 2-star. It was fine. It was the first of the 4 books that I did end up reading. I could have honestly gone my entire life and not read this book. It was fine for what it was. It's just not for me. The writing was fine in The Lucky One. I felt a little cringy at times. It felt a little like meh. There are so many other romance novels that I enjoy so much, more in like the romance genre, that I feel like I would pick up before this one. And in fact, actually reading this book, I have decided to unhaul all of my Nicholas Sparks books. I'm never going to be in a mood where I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to read Nicholas Sparks. I'm glad I know this about myself. I'm glad I read The Lucky One, and I'm glad I was able to decide that for myself. So I'm actually gonna unhaul all 3 of those books. It was a product of its time. Unhauled. The next one up, we have Intermezzo by Sally Rooney. I really loved this book. I would not be surprised if this book is probably in my top 10 or maybe top 5, because I don't read that many books. So this book, I gave it, I think, a 4.5 star. When I first started this book, I was a little nervous that I wasn't going to like the writing style, because the way that chapter 1 was written, this is not a spoiler, it's chapter 1. The way that chapter 1 was written, it was very clunky and very like short sentences. But the more you read about the book and you learn about the characters, it makes sense as to why. And I will say that chapter 1, that's not how the entire book is. You just have to give it a shot. You have to keep on reading and you're going to understand. I really enjoyed this. I think there could have been a little bit more character development, maybe with the love interests. I would have been interested to see that a little bit more, although I know that the story was mostly about the brothers. I do think that their internal struggles for where they were in life, because one was 22 and the other one was 34, I think that they were realistic. While I can't speak for being 34, I can speak for where I was mentally when I was 22. While I was not this character, I do think I could understand some of the things that he was going through and how his mind was thinking when he was 22. So I did appreciate that, and I felt like the character development in here was really great. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of like the chess game, like that part of it. That's okay. That was maybe just misaligned expectations from what I thought I was gonna get versus like what the book was actually about. I did overall enjoy this. I thought it was a great book. Recommend it. Loved it. The Cat Who Saved Books by Suzuki Natsukawa. I gave this, it was between a 2.5 and a 3. I was a little disappointed, not gonna lie. I was just expecting there to be more with the cat, since he's on the cover and it's called The Cat Who Saves Books. He's in it. I think I was expecting more teamwork between our main character and the cat, of us getting to solve these problems, and when we were entering like the different phases in the labyrinth, I thought it was gonna be a little bit more. And I know it's a relatively short book, it's less than 200 pages. I do think the pacing was okay in this. I did get a little bored here and there, and I think again that's probably just my expectations, like what I was expecting to get out of the book versus what the book was. I think that this book has a great representation of grief. Our main character, he was given a bookshop. I don't think this is a spoiler. He inherited the bookshop from his grandfather. I think that there were some beautiful conversations in here about grief and about how you cope with change, especially change that's unexpected. Not my most favorite, and certainly not my least favorite book. I am glad that I read this. It was one of my priority books for 2026, so I'm glad I got there. And I forgot to say this about Intermezzo, but Intermezzo and The Cat Who Saves Books, these were priority books of 2026. And then the last one, which I called this, I did not finish it, The Priory of the Orange Tree. You can see my bookmark. You see that? I'm only at 54 pages, but I knew I was not gonna finish this chunker in 2 months. The 54 pages I've read of this captivated. I already love the storytelling. I am very interested in all of our characters and what's going on in this world. I have tons of questions. I have tons of like, who's this, who that, what's going on. I very much love this. We're 54 pages in and we're already seeing some dragon action. Love that. So since I'm talking about this book, let me give the small little mini update on the rules for this game. So I had said that if I get a book like this one, I don't read it in the 2 months. It rolls over for the next 2 months. Let me also just say that this book is not going to take the place of one of my shuffles. So I'm still going to do 4 shuffles in this video. So I'll have this book plus 4 more for this TBR game. Let's just say I don't end up reading this by the end of April. Honestly, it's a very large possibility because it's a very large book. I can continue reading it if I choose to, which I'm gonna choose to. I'm gonna finish this book. I honestly just don't think I'm also going to finish it by the end of April. So then that brings me to the other little update to the rules. What's going to be considered completing a read is if I read 50% or more of a book. I think this is 890 pages. So if I read half of that, whatever it is, it will be considered a completion. And right now I don't have like any penalty or, oh, if I don't finish it, I'm gonna do extra shuffles. Ain't nobody got time for that. This is literally just for fun. I think that was everything I wanted to say. We're gonna go ahead and jump over to the computer and we're going to do the next 4 shuffles. And then we'll come back over here, talk about those books more in depth and close out the vlog. Before we get to the R studio so we can actually play, I just wanted to show you this because this is where I have all of my books. This is where the statistical software that I have is pulling all of the data from. Eventually, I want to have it where I update this in the video. You see where it says status here, where it says read or unread. I think there are a few DNFs in there too from the books that I've DNF'd and I still own, but we will change that status. So then when we get into the statistical software and we're searching for books, we change the status. We're going to be searching for books that are unread. So it's important that I change that status because if I didn't, I could potentially get that book again. I wanted to specify that and I have to update this at the end of those 2 months. If I'm going to be unhauling books, if we are going to be marking books as read, I need to make sure I update this so I don't have outdated data. But I just wanted to show you that. So without further ado, I have the game and hopefully you can see it a little bit better. I had noticed in our last video it was a little bit difficult to see, but hopefully this will be fine. I wanted to show you guys this. This is where we're going to be reading in the data. Okay, so that is what we just saw. Like I did last time, I already have them pre-written out. Eventually, I want to be typing these out in front of you guys, but just to try and keep it as simple as possible without all of us getting confused and not wanting to have fun together. Like we do every 2 months, we have 4 shuffles. So our first shuffle is going to be the priority shuffle. Priority shuffle, these are the books that are in my priority TBR. So we see that here, status unread, priority 1. This is our backlist shuffle. So the backlist shuffle is any book that's been on my TBR from 2024 and before that. Here we have our other 2 random shuffles. We have shuffle 3 and 4, and these are literally any random book. So like I said last time, if it's not right, it's gonna give me an error. And it shouldn't give me an error because these codes should all work. I have not tested them yet though. That's the disclaimer. I can only run it 1 time because if I regenerated this, because it's random, it would pick 4 different books. It's not going to pick the same 4 books each time. So up at the top where it says knit, we are going to knit all of this together and it's going to give us our 4 books. Here we go. Okay, so I do want to say this did work because the window popped up. If it didn't work, again, I would have gotten some random code. Good job, Autumn. You did your codes correctly. Our priority shuffle, I got a romance. Okay, wasn't expecting to read that one, but we did. Okay. I think it's gonna be a good one. I'm actually really excited. Okay, so now we're to our backlist. Oh, shoot. Okay, that's fine. That's gonna be a problem. Wait, no, we don't have to think about it because we have rules in place. We'll talk about that one in just a second, the backlist shuffle. Shuffles 3 and 4 are completely random. So we've got a horror, I think. Which one is that? Do I own that book? I'm gonna have to look that one up. Oh, wait, okay, I just remembered what it was. I'm actually kind of excited about that one. I thought it was horror, but if it's the book I'm thinking of, it's actually nonfiction. So that's shuffle number 3. Shuffle number 4. This game chooses violence. It did all of that. So it did all of the things. It sure damn tootin' fucking did. Let me go grab all of those books and I'll meet you guys back over there. Love my life. Y'all. This game picked violence. Actually, I only have, no, well, I'm excited about all of these books. The first book it picked, which is on my Priority TBR. This is kind of like, meh. It's not technically on the 12 books I want to read in 2026. It's like one of the, if I have time, what are they called? Like an honorable mention? But it got picked. Here we go, friends. It's Funny You Should Ask by Alyssa Sussman. It looks like it's got 2 timelines. So it says, then 20-something writer Shani is stuck. While her former MFA classmates are nabbing high-profile book deals, all she does is churn out puff pieces. Then she's hired to write a profile of a movie star, Gabe Parker, her #1 celebrity crush, and the latest James Bond. All Shani wants to do is keep her cool and nail the piece. But what comes next proves to be life-changing in ways she never saw coming, as the interview turns into a whirlwind weekend that has the tabloids buzzing and Shani getting closer to Gabe than she had ever planned. Now, 10 years later, after a brutal divorce and a healthy dose of therapy, Shani is back in LA with the career of her dreams as a successful writer. Except that no matter what new essay collection or online editorial she's promoting, someone always asks about the profile. It always comes back to Gabe. So when his PR team requests that they reunite for a second interview, she wants to say no. She wants to pretend that she's forgotten all about the time they spent together. But the truth is that Shani wants to know if those 72 hours were as memorable to Gabe as they were to her. And so she says yes. Ooh, okay, that actually sounds really good, really cute. Super pumped for it. This is book 1. Theonite Planet Aiden by M.L. Wang. So this is the author that wrote The Sword of Kaigen. I have been told that you should read The Sword of Kaigen before you read the spin-off series. And I think it's just a duology because this is book 1 and I think there's book 2, but I don't know book 2. Look at this. I can't with myself. This is asinine. You can't make this shit up. I was hoping for like some fun reads, but this game, it's just been a bit much, you know? I need to do a little bit more investigating, I think, to determine if I actually need to read The Sword of Kaigen before I read Theonite. Book 1. Before I read the synopsis of Theonite, I do really need to like solidify which one I'm going to read. So hang on, let me pause you and then I'll come back with a definitive answer. So I'm back. In my internet search that took 5 minutes, it says that I should read The Sword of Kaigen first. I am not upset about. I've been really wanting to read this book for years and I just got it, I think, for Christmas or for my birthday. So with that being said, this is probably the book that I'm gonna have to read. Although this is a standalone and I've been really wanting to read this book, and in fact, it's also a Priority TBR book. The back of it says, of the Kyanese Empire lives the most powerful fighters in the world, warriors capable of rising the sea and wielding blades of ice. For centuries, the fighters of the Kusanagi Peninsula have held the empire's enemies at bay, earning their treacherous spit of land the name the Sword of Kaigen. Born into Kusanagai's legendary Matsuda family, 14-year-old Mamoru has always known his purpose: to master his family's fighting techniques and defend his homeland. But when an outsider arrives and pulls back the curtain on Kaigen's alleged age of peace, he realizes he might not have much time before he has to become the fighter he was bred to be. Even worse, the empire he was born to defend might stand on a fountain of lies. That was the backlist spin. Let me clarify. This whole shuffle, all 4 of these shuffles were just so chaotic. So the next one up, it was just the random pool. And I don't know how I'm gonna do this one. I didn't think this through. Okay, this book is Evil Has a Name: The Untold Story of the Golden Gate Killer Investigation. It's an audiobook by James Clement, Paul Holes, and Peter McDonnell. The story details the final and dramatic arrest of Joseph James D'Angelo, providing behind-the-scenes insights from his investigators into the decades-long hunt for the Golden State Killer, serving as a follow-up to Michelle McNamara's I'll Be Gone in the Dark. I don't exactly know how to do this. This book is an audiobook. I think it says it's only an audiobook. I'll have to figure that out. This book was on the list as an audiobook, but it's only through Audible, and I've been having issues getting into my Audible account. I have books that I've purchased before I knew better through Audible, but I still like to listen to those books or could just like pop in and listen to books. And so I think that I put this book on here probably not knowing that it was an Audible only book, and that's my problem. But I can't remember if it was one that I purchased, because I don't think I would have had this one on here if I hadn't at least purchased it. So we'll figure that out. And it's not the book that I was originally thinking. I was originally thinking it was the Israel Keys one, and I forgot what that one is, but that's about a serial killer as well. This one is not about Israel Keys, and I can't remember the name of the other one that I was thinking of. I'm actually really excited for this next book. It's the start of a 7-book series though, so who knows where my life is gonna go in 2026, because it's already been a wild one and it's the end of February. The last book that it completely randomly chose, this was Shuffle 4, it's The Age of Myth by Michael J. Sullivan. In The Age of Myth, one of fantasy's finest next-generation storytellers continues to break new ground. Since time immemorial, humans have worshipped the gods they call Frey, truly a race apart, invincible in battle, masters of magic, and seemingly immortal. But when a god falls to a human blade, the balance of power between humans and those they thought were gods changes forever. Now, only a few stand between humankind and annihilation. Wraith, reluctant to embrace his destiny as the god killer. Suri, a young seer burdened by signs of impending doom. And Persephone, who must overcome personal tragedy to lead her people. The Age of Myth is over. The time of rebellion has begun. I feel like I need to get another copy. I don't really like mass paperbacks. I need something better to have and to hold. Oh, let me include Sam Shan in this because these are the 4 books plus that one audiobook. We gotta figure that out. That I have to read for the next 2 months. So finish Sam Shan and Funny You Should Ask, The Sword of Kaigan, and Age of Myth. Beautiful, beautiful. And then maybe potentially an audiobook that's nonfiction. That is everything that I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what book you think is going to roll over into the next video. Or if we're gonna be optimistic, if you think I'm gonna be able to finish all 4 plus maybe 5, if you think I'm gonna finish them all, let me know down in the comments below. But thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.